Okay then, so this is how to set up those props I've been making for the last few weeks. First of all, the Dr. Evil chair. Now this is light enough that I can carry it on my own, no problem. So this is the base bit, it's all one piece for the base, and you just set that down nice and easy. And then the back section just slots in. There's no screws, bolts or anything required to hold these pieces together, so this really is the easiest setup. Now the base of this chair is made small enough that it will fit through a single sized door, so getting it into venues will not be a problem. Moving on, the next thing to set up is the James Bond laser table. Now these parts are the legs, and again these are all quite lightweight. Just a bit of a faff trying to get them out of a tightly packed van. So those bolts to unfold the two halves and then just push them together. Now these parts also aren't held together by anything. They're held together because the tops of these fit in a groove on the tabletop. But before we get to that, the laser, this arm part just slots into the base. Position that. And this is the tabletop. Now this actually is really freaking heavy. But it needs to be heavy duty because people are going to lay on this, and this holds all of the legs and everything together, so if this was a weak point the whole thing could fall apart. So just position that left and right and then lift up from the bottom and slide across, and there are channels underneath it, like I just said, where the tops of the leg sections slot into, and that just holds the whole thing together. Just have to watch your fingers doing this bit because it will slice them off if you're not careful. Looks like I'm unwrapping a dead body, but no, this is the laser. Wrap it up so I can transport it without it getting damaged. And that slots in the top of the stand, and there is one bolt that just holds that through, and that fastens up with a wing nut. And this can pivot, but as it's front heavy it will always stay down on the table, and there's that little channel on top of the gold section that just rests in. And then it's just a simple almost like a jack connection on the back there to connect the wire to the back of the laser. And it's just a simple case of plugging it in and turning it on. And with this, I'm glad that people at the Comic-Con knew exactly what to do straight away, and everyone was just going up to it and laying on it and doing all sorts of stuff, and it's really cool. So last but not least, the big one, the Star Trek transporter. Now this is my genius idea. Transport it like this with the holes in it and the bolts separate so they don't poke into things in transit, and there's a bit of elastic on the back, so when I do poke the bolts through they can't accidentally be pushed through while I'm trying to put the walls on. So this is one of the wall sections. It's hinged, and as suspected the paint, as it wasn't fully set, did kind of stick a little bit, so there's some little bits of the paint peeled off, but we'll fix that later. And as you may notice, this also is just a one-person setup. I've learned over the years that it is a lot easier to make these things light enough for one person to carry and easy enough for one person to set up. Now I know I'm slightly bigger than one person, but as it is me going to be doing this stuff, I don't really care. So wing nuts on the back, yes, there should be washers here. I couldn't find them. Turns out they were in the glove box of the van. Put them there for safekeeping and forgot where they were. But anyways, drill to attach those brackets back on. Everything is marked, so everything goes exactly the same place every time. And brackets at the top as well. Now those grooves in the middle are hidden by these detailed trim pieces. These are also numbered, so they always go in the same place every time, so I can't get it wrong because they're not all going to be exactly the same size. and these just slot into place. Now if I wasn't so tall, this would be difficult, but I am, so it's not. The roof just needs to go on. Is a little bit of a faff, but this is actually very lightweight. It has like one wooden beam on the front, and the rest of it is just a cut down thin sheet of MDF. Nice one, gents, and get your fingers out of the way. And the sides of the walls are marked, as is the underside of the ceiling, so I can make sure they are lined up perfectly from the outside rather than have to keep walking around to make sure it's nice and aligned. And then it's just one screw per panel to hold the roof on. So this stands at 8 foot tall. I'm 6'1", and with my arm outstretched it's about 8 foot up, so it's pretty handy that I'm quite tall. And almost the last thing to do is to attach these lamp things, and they just slot on and twist the lock into place. I think I will actually put real lights in these at some point. And as I said, the panels stuck together a little bit, which caused some of the paint to peel, so I always bring along a little couple of pots of touch-up paint. So I spent 2 minutes with a brush just touching up the black, white and grey areas that had peeled away. So that's them all done, and here they are all finished.